So that's all good to go. And take it away, Casey.
Thank you so much, Oscar. And yes, my first thing that I was going to say is, Oscar, double check to make sure we are recording. So I appreciate that. Yes, hello, everyone. My name is Casey Sider. I am a customer success manager here at TechSmith. And today I have about 50 minutes, 45 minutes, and I really want to show you some features in Camtasia. I had some basic PowerPoint slides, but I think just for time, I'm just going to jump right into um, showing off Camtasia. What I want to focus on today is how to use free assets from our library that I think are woefully unknown. And so I'm doing my part to advertise them here. But we have a whole asset library for Camtasia that is available. We have paid assets and there's free assets. And today I want to make, I have a pre-made video and I want to use the free assets to enhance that video. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hold on for just a second here. All right. Perfect. And Eric, could I just get a thumbs up that you can see my screen? We're looking at techsmith.com. All right, fantastic. So we're going to get started in just a second with our live demo for today. But before we do, I also just want to push that if you ever have any questions, you can always reach out to us at TechSmith. I'm going to put my team's questions here, email address here, customersuccess@techsmith.com. I am the premier EDU trainer and consultant for TechSmith here. So if anyone in an education institution has questions, needs training, needs consultation, it usually comes to me. But I also, just for the recording, want to show off some other resources for you guys. We have tutorials, of course, here on our website, but we also have a pretty robust offering of free public webinars. So here we have free webinars, getting started with Camtasia, getting started with Snagit, how to vacation like a pro, from one of our HR reps, getting more out of Camtasia. We usually offer a lot of different sessions every month, and they're totally free. Anyone in the public can sign up to these, and if you sign up, but you can't make it that particular day, we will send you a copy of the recording. Here you can see some of my sessions with my goofy posing, but there's a lot of fun stuff to learn. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up Camtasia. Now, for those of you unfamiliar, Camtasia, of course, is a video editing program that can both record your screen, record your webcam, and then when you get into the actual editor, which is what we're seeing right now, you have the full editing suite. So right here, what I have is a recording that I've already done. We're going to get into what that is and what the use case is in just a second. But I want to draw attention to the top left-hand corner here. This is where the Camtasia assets live. So this is under the media bin. If you toggle over here up top on the left, you'll see a long list of our Camtasia assets in this asset tab. Now, you can access all of these, all of the assets in the asset tab right here, or you can go directly to library.techsmith.com, and you'll have the TechSmith assets for Camtasia. So I'm just going to go to browse all the actual customizables first. And so just to be clear, what this is this is the web version of what this tab is in the product, in the Camtasia product itself. So depending on what my use case is, sometimes I'll just browse through the actual Camtasia tab right here and just see what I like. If I want to pull a music track, if I want to pull some emphasis burst effects, if I want to pull an audio visualizer, some maybe I'm producing a video for like a YouTube project that I have, and I want to put some channel kit, some subscription icons in there. All of that is available either in this tab or the website proper. And let me just pull up the website here. So we have over 100 million assets here, and we partner with Shutterstock, and we make our own as well. So anything that's labeled as starter is absolutely free. So you have things like, we have interesting titles here that you can fully customize as you see fit. Here's an audio ring, lots of different types of audio rings as well. So you can always go over here and just search by just the starter content, and that is all 100% free. So that's what we're talking about. Here's an example of premium content, which is a subscription that you pay for, but there's lots of different options that we're going to start using. Okay, so One thing I'll also mention is that I should have mentioned this at the start of the hour. I apologize, but if you have any questions, go ahead and pop them into the meeting chat. I will keep going back to the chat frequently. So if you need anything, feel free to just go ahead and pop that into chat. I'm going to turn off my video on my Zoom. Okay, so what I have here is a pre-recorded video, and this is just a traditional picture-in-picture video. The key components here are, of course, the screen recording in the background and then my webcam right here. I also separated the audio from my webcam, so that's already been pre-done here. So that's where we're starting off. Just to explain what my use case is this is a demo dashboard that I have, but let's say my use case is I have a lot of students that kept asking me how to generate in our LMS a user report, right? Or some sort of like some sort of multi-click process that I need to show off. Maybe it's to my students, maybe it's to my coworkers, maybe it's to my boss, I don't know. But this is the process I wanted to show off. I recorded about 1 minute and 20 seconds, and this is the raw recording. Okay, so what I want to do today is use all of these free assets to enhance this. Now, I'll point out there's nothing inherently wrong with this video. It's showing off what I want to show off, which is great. But what I want to do is the whole point is I want to try to engage my users as much as possible. But I also, if I'm being honest, I don't have too much time to spend on this. Maybe I have to crank out 3 of these videos a day or a week, So it's not like I'm getting extra points for just adding, like multiple effects on here. But generally speaking, I want to do what I can with the little time that I have and try to enhance my project, make it more engaging, make it a lot more fun to pay attention to, right? So for the time being, what I'm going to do is actually get rid of my camera right there. I just want this with my audio and my screenshot right here. And the first thing, before I even look at assets, and this is just a Camtasia kind of tip so that some people don't realize we have this functionality in here. If you'll notice here when I'm walking through my screenshot, I didn't do a region capture with Camtasia. I did a full screen capture. And if you see, I have the URL up here. I have multiple tabs open. I have my, my like Windows bar down here. Maybe I don't really want to show that off. That's not as critical to, I don't need people to see that. So what I'm going to do is click on the screen, which is the screen recording is represented by this block on track 2. And I'm going to go up here to the top center and toggle over to the crop section. So I can actually, I'm just going to crop this video and I'm going to just slice out those sections that I don't like, right? So this is just a good thing that you can do if you don't want to redo the actual video. Like if you see that and you think, oh gosh, I should have done this, like with a different setting, that's fine. You can do that in post. So I've cropped out what I don't want in here. Perfect. Now I'm going to switch back over to my master tab. Then I'm going to scale this down just a little bit because I want this to be the focus of attention, but I want a background here to kind of help me put a focus on this. So here I've already taken care of, I've cropped out all the unnecessary bits. Okay, perfect. So what I'd like to do now is add a background to the video itself. And so that's going to take me to one of the categories of assets, which is up here in the top left, dynamic backgrounds. So I'm going to click See All. So dynamic backgrounds are a mix of, they're basically color palettes and some slight imagery that moves over time. So as an example, if I pull this down, and I'll just point out, watch how easy that is. I didn't own this asset before. This is something I just downloaded. I pulled it down and it downloaded it right there. So what I can do is actually extend this so it's my whole background. And I'm going to just scrub through this so you can see. So what this is, it's a color palette that changes over time. So there's movement here that actually changes. It's not too distracting, it's just enough. That's one example here. And one thing while I'm in this section that I'll say is if I highlight this, all of these assets are extremely customizable. So if I click on this color palette over here in the top right-hand corner, I have all these properties. So I can change all of the actual like mixing colors that are used. I can change the actual speed and the movement when it swirls and when it doesn't. So all of that is totally controllable. So for me, I think I want to choose a blue kind of aesthetic to this entire presentation. So I'm going to go with this dynamic fill 30. Okay, so that's my choice right there. And so that downloaded. So now I'm going to pull this here. And again, just to prove a point, maybe I click on this and I like the blues, but I want to make it a little bit darker. So maybe I'll go up here to color 1 and I'll choose just a darker, one of my a darker kind of blue, maybe a navy blue. So as you can see, I've chosen that and now it's already started to change the actual color mix. So maybe I'll do that twice to have it just a little bit darker. Okay, perfect. So I like that quite a bit. All right, so now while we're looking at the actual screen recording, there are a few visual effects that I can choose to put on that to really make that pop, right? And so the two that I love to put on, and I use them in most of my videos, are corner rounding and drop shadow. Drop shadow in particular for this context is really going to look good, but I'm going to first drag corner rounding on here. And if you've never seen, if this is your first time looking at Camtasia, this is a great example of how to add a visual effect to a piece of media on your timeline, okay? So I'm going to grab this corner rounding and I'm going to drag it down to the video that's on track 2, which is my screen recording. The moment that I add that, it's now populated when I highlight that track. It's populated over here, top right-hand corner, in the properties panel. So here I have corner rounding. So I could go crazy with this. I could fully customize this and have fun with it. But I think what I'm going to do is just a little bit just to smooth it off, polish those corners. I know it's a small thing, but these tiny little minute changes really add up in the long run to really make a video pop. Okay, so I've added that one. Now let's add drop shadow. I'm going to add drop shadow. Okay, so now, yep, just as I said, so that's populated up here in the properties panel here. So I'm going to just put this drop shadow on there. I really like that. I like it adds this 3D element to it. Perfect. Okay, so my video is looking pretty good, but I definitely want to add an intro and an outro, right? And so I'm probably going to want to add music at a certain point. So I'm going to go back to my media and go back to my asset page. So let's go ahead and let me just take a look. I think I definitely want to do a title of some sort. And this is me kind of, oh, I'm going to filter this to only have free assets because we're building our entire presentation on free assets here. And I'm just looking at some of these available. Okay, line becomes box. This one looks pretty cool. I want to add this. So I'll literally just drag it down. I'm going to drag it on track 2. It downloads. So this is an example of a pre-packaged asset that I just downloaded at no cost to me. So it comes up. It says your title here, your tagline here. Perfect. Fantastic. So I want to have that, but I also want to go back to the dynamic backgrounds and see if I can have a background for this. Now, if I wanted to, I already have this dynamic fill. I could extend this if I wanted to, but I think I'm going to try something a little bit different and just to show you guys the wide variety of what these are. So if I'm searching through some of these backgrounds, you can see there's almost like MC Escher ones that I think do look pretty cool, but it's almost a little bit too distracting for what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a more kind of serious tone to this video. One of my favorites here is crystalline. I'm going to pull down crystalline and we're going to move everything and we'll sync this all up in just a second here. So I'm going to put crystalline right at the bottom below track 2. Okay. And I will shorten this. And then we'll just sync all these up here. Perfect. So now we have, let's just play this back and take a look at what crystalline looks like in front of, what crystalline looks like as the background for my opening title. Okay. So I like the movement. It looks cool. It's not too distracting. I know almost immediately, just because that looks cool, I'm going to literally copy and paste this and pop the crystalline over at the bottom to do an outro as well. Oh, Emily Thompson jumps in here just saying UTC uses Camtasia as our entry level that isn't iMovie video editor. Students love these assets. The screencast is invaluable for students who need to quote a video and can't download it. Fair use applications only, of course. Emily, thank you so much. Yes, that's a great comment. And we are going to talk about screencast as well. These free assets, I feel like it's like a secret. Like I don't see a lot of people talking about them. Like I said, there's paid assets that are very cool, but the free assets alone bring so much value. So yeah, 100%. Thank you for that. So, okay, so now we have our background asset and we have the title card here. Now, I will obviously need to customize this because I don't want my title of my presentation saying your title here. So I will highlight this asset and I will go up here and Emily chimes in. It's amazing what the students will poke around and find. Yes, we update it a lot. TechSmith creates them and Shutterstock creates them too. So there's a lot of new ones that go in there all the time. I mean, for me, for my profession, I'm usually using the more professional, like serious ones, but there's a lot of really fun, goofy, inventive ones out there as well. But so I'm to customize this, I'm going up here to the top right-hand corner. And remember, the point of this video is to generate user reports. So I'll just call this user reports and I'll say with Casey Sider, which is me. If I can spell my own last name. Okay. So almost immediately the with Casey Sider it's just too small and faint. And heck, if this is my video, I want to get credit for it. So there's a little A right next to the subtitle. And when I click on that, it's a whole drop down. So if I wanted to, I could change the font, change the coloring, do all kinds of things. I could change the size, even change the alignment. But for me right now, all I want to do is bold this. I think that would be enough. And so that looks pretty good right there. I'm very happy with that. In addition, I don't like this color. I've already kind of chosen the general aesthetic is going to be more blue aligned, different shades of blue. So this purple, it's just not doing it for me. So I'm going to go over here and change this box, and I'm going to change this to, let's try the dark blue. Do I like that? Or do I want to do a lighter? I like the dark. I think that looks better. Okay, so now we've changed this. And so now this will just pop up and say user reports with Casey Sider. Now we are going to add a music track as well, probably the most exciting part, but we'll wait for the end for that. Okay, so just talking about some other examples of assets that I can, or of things I can do for this video. At a certain point, and these are just now general Camtasia tips and tricks for how to enhance an instructional how-to video. How do you do this? Well, watch this 90-second video and you'll learn. So at a certain point here, I tell people to click on reports, and then they will choose a graphing style to how to generate that report. So what would be cool is if the moment that I bring my cursor over to reports, I would love to zoom in here and focus specifically on the report section. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you how. So I'm going to play this video and pause it when I say reports.
Go down to where it says reports.
Yep, so right around here is when I would like the image to zoom in. So what I'm going to do is top left-hand corner. These are all these special effects that Camtasia has to offer. I'm going to click on animations. So there's two types of animations. There's zoom and pan, or just the classic animation. I like to just choose animations and grab a custom animation. Now this is probably the hardest part, the hardest thing that we'll do today in Camtasia. So if you can master animations, you're going to be a pro. So I drag down I've dragged down the animation here, and it's represented on my timeline as an arrow with a little dot on it, right? On the tip. Now, when I know that this is ready to receive instructions is when I put my playhead right on that dot. So now Camtasia is telling me, okay, Casey, it's time. Tell us what you want to do. So what I want to do is scale this up and then go over here. Scale that up and go over here. So let's just take a look at what that looks like.
To where it says reports, and go ahead and click on reports.
So right around there is when I want to zoom back out. So what I'm going to do is pull down this custom animation arrow. Now, check this out. This is pretty cool. If I want to zoom out to the exact area I was before, so I zoomed in, and now I want to go back exactly to where I was before. I could, do the same thing, put my playhead on the little arrow there and try to figure it out manually, but there's a cheat to this, and this is very cool. I right click and I just hit copy properties. So I move before the first animation arrow, right click and hit copy properties. Then I move after the second animation arrow, right click and do paste properties. So it's literally copying the exact parameters of the sizing of everything. So now let's just watch this one more time.
Down to where it says reports.
Okay.
Reports, and go ahead and click on reports.
Now, to circle this back to assets, this is all well and good zooming in, but it's missing something, you know, I want to add more. So what can I do, right? So let's go back to assets and see if we can add anything to add some emphasizing to this. So I'm going to go back to my media bin, go back to assets, and I'm going to go to callouts. So all different kinds of callouts, we've added quite a few. I think I'm just going to go with this simple arrow and just be done with it. But just scrolling through, there's a lot of different options. And again, if I went to the website proper, I could find even more. But for me, for today, you know, I'm trying to save time. I don't have a lot of time to like look through every single asset. I want to put an arrow on there. Here's an arrow. Let's go. All right. So it will download. Now I'm going to shorten the arrow because I want this arrow to show up in between these animations, right? So this is the arrow on the screen. So I'm going to move it. I'm, you know, obviously going to customize it because I want to move this to show you. I want this to pop up. So boom, there we go. When I've clicked on this, you know, the red, again, not doing it for me. We need to switch this to blue. Very easy. You know, every asset can be fully customized. I'm going to go over here, top right-hand corner, just simply switch this color out. You know, for this one, I think I do want the lighter blue. That one looks good. Okay, so let's just watch this again. So this zooms in.
Reports, and go ahead and click on reports.
Arrow goes away. Okay. So one additional thing that I can add to this arrow to make it a little bit more seamless is to go up here into the top left-hand corner and go to transitions and search for a fade transition. Search quite a bit. So transitions are usually used to transition between two different video blocks, but when using assets like this, you can have some fun with this and have them kind of transition into the screen and then transition out. So the most classic, and usually you know, there's a lot of silly ones, but I just, for me, I just prefer to drop the fade on here, drop it on the beginning and the end, and I'm good with that. So it just simply
reports, and go ahead and click on reports.
Okay, perfect. So one other call out that I'd like to focus on is I'd like to use some sort of burst effect for when I talk about the different options here in the next step of what they want to choose. So I'll just play this back for a second.
You'll have to choose a graphing style for your report and select a date range.
So when I say both of those, I want to put a burst effect over this, some sort of emphasis effect, and the same for date range. So let's see, you know, there's lots of different options out here. I already know. Do I know what I want? Where are my? Yeah, okay. So there's a whole category called emphasis bursts. So I'm going to click on this and I'm just going to choose burst 1. But again, based off your style, your aesthetic, what the style of the actual video is, like the content, you can, you know, obviously make your own choice. But I'm going to drag burst down. It's going to download burst 1. And now I want this burst. So let's just look what the burst is.
For your report.
So there we go. So if I wanted to, I could scale this up, scale it down. I could make it huge, but honestly, the sizing looks pretty good for me right now. But I am going to move the center of it right about where I want. You know, actually, maybe I do want to scale this down just a little bit because it maybe is just a little bit too big. So now I'll put this one right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what that looks like.
Date range for your report.
You know, if I had time, if this wasn't a demo, I'd probably spend a little bit more time thinking about where I want to place that specifically so it doesn't look too
range for your report.
But I think that's
so go.
Okay. So I'm literally just going to hit copy and paste that other arrow. And then when I mention the date range, I'll put an emphasis there too.
And choose one. I prefer bars. Then go ahead.
Wait a second. Let me play this back for a second.
Your report and select a date range for your report.
Okay, so I actually want to put this back a little bit earlier when I actually first said
style for your report and select a date range.
And then when I say the word date range, what I have found, and another tip with these using these kind of assets, is the moment the narration, the speaker starts to say the word, that's typically when you want that effect to kick in. So I'm going to move this over here for the date range. Okay, let's play this back.
Choose a graphing style for your report and select a date range for your report. So go.
So again, these are just free assets that you can download that, cost you nothing and will literally take I don't want to say it's boring, but it's a little bit dry, but, show the audience where the eyeball is supposed to be. I know that sounds silly, but you want to control where they're looking at as much as possible. Maybe if I had the time during this video, I would add extra burst effects, extra emphasis, but I'm not going to do that just for demo purposes. I think you guys understand. Okay, so let's talk about an outro now. What can we do for an outro? So here we have the crystalline. We know that we liked that. Maybe, as I mentioned before, maybe this is like I'm also putting this video up on YouTube, so I do want people to subscribe. So I choose what we call the channel kit, which is for making those kind of either promotional pieces of content or like advertising pieces of content, but mostly social media based. But I'm just going to literally grab this subscribe bell and drag this down. So it's going to download there. So let's just take a look at that real quick. Okay. So once again, the red looks fine, but I think I will just go up here and just change that to blue just to, keep the overall theming nice and tight for this presentation. So we have that. And then let's do one more. I already know what I want to do, so I'm just literally going to use the search option because I know the name of this asset, excuse me, big motion brackets. And that's what this is down here. So I'm going to put this into big motion brackets. We're going to extend the crystalline just a little bit to compensate for this. And let's look at big motion brackets for a sec. Title goes here. I love it. So let's just click on this. What's our title? Let's just say, thank you for watching. Thanks. Okay, perfect. Now, I'm liking this video. This is looking really sharp, very cool, but we have the last step here, which is we need to add some music. So what I'm going to do is I prefer to put the music track right on the first track. So I'm going to right click and say insert track below. So I'm going to, basically make a new track 1 right here. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at music, and let's talk about music for a second. So Camtasia assets offer all kinds of basically copyright-free music, which is very, very cool. It's difficult to find these kind of things because music really will enhance a presentation and it will really give off that nice and polished effect. But it's hard to find music that you can feel free to use without being hit by like a lawsuit or something. You're obviously not going to go and grab a Coldplay song or whatever, right? So where do you find those? Well, here is an option for you. These are free songs that you can literally just download and now own that you can jump in here and use. So I have, let's do Hip Hop Chambers and let's watch this with the music. Just the first portion here. Yeah, there we go.
Hi everyone, Casey Sider here, and I am making a video to show you how.
Okay, so just looking at that, I have a few additional thoughts. So I have favorited the fade transition, and I didn't like how abrupt the title card went to just my presentation. So I'm now going to add the fade transition on both of these down here to make that a little bit more seamless. I also noticed like the music during the intro, perfect. I love it. But when something about the balancing seemed off when the spoken word, when the narration started, you couldn't hear that spoken word enough. So what I'm going to show you is now, here's my segue for another special effect is over here at top left-hand corner, we have audio effects. And I love the emphasize effect. So just talking about audio and how to edit in Camtasia with audio, we do have a supplemental companion program called Audiate, which is magnificent, but there is an extra cost for that program, so I'm not going to show it right now. But if you're ever interested, Audiate lets you generate amazing captions, lets you do like voice AI generation, lets you generate scripts, and it's just fantastic. But talking about audio in Camtasia, there's two main ways that I like to do to edit audio. The first is audio points. So if I click on the track that has audio, here it's a music track, I'm going to right click and I'm going to add audio points, and I'll probably add a few of these. And maybe I actually want these audio points way over here, so I'm going to move these over here. So this will let you control manually what the volume level is over time, and you can do this in multiple steps. So maybe, you know, I want it like the music to swell at a certain point in the ending, and then for it to drop down slowly, right? So I can control that manually. The other way to control audio is with the audio effects in the top left. And I'm going to circle back to emphasize. So the audio I want to emphasize is the spoken word audio from my screen recording. So I'm going to drag this emphasize onto the track on track 4. Okay. Now let's listen to how the music and the spoken word, how those kind of balance each other. Let's go back and watch this one more time.
Hi everyone, Casey Sider here, and I am making a video.
I don't know if that was really apparent. Let me play that back.
Hi everyone, Casey Sider here, and I am making a video to show you how
Okay, so again, that's just a really good way for you to save some time. You know, if I had additional time, I could add audio points all throughout this and add, you know, have the music swell at certain points and things like that. But again, I'm in a rush. I need to make, you know, multiple videos in a day or a week. So I'm just going to use that emphasize effect. Okay, so I'm very happy with this. I would be okay going up here and hitting export and either saving this as a local file, so producing this as like an MP4 and just saving it on my desktop. I could also send it to Screencast, which is a free hosting platform that we have, and I could send it to YouTube as well. Okay. Michael jumps in here, emphasizes, and I'm just saying for the recorded session, emphasizes a term that students understand from their perspective, right? It's pretty straightforward what you're emphasizing the audio of the actual video, right? And we don't have to worry about telling them to pull the audio down in other tracks. Yeah, because like I really like audio points, but that's maybe more of a slightly advanced feature. So one other thing, I was saving this in case we had the time, and we do. I want to show you another component here. So I originally recorded this with a webcam option. Generally speaking, especially for educators, I do recommend trying to incorporate webcam whenever you can. It humanizes you in front of the students, and it's just more engaging, generally speaking. But for today, I thought I'd do something a little bit different and offer you an alternative. So I'm not going to use my webcam here, but I want to show you a different way to do this using some interesting assets here. So I'm going to go back to my media bin, and I had already downloaded a goofy picture of myself. So here's me in all my glory. Maybe I'll minimize myself just a little bit, looking very serious, very dramatic here. What I'm going to do is extend this just a little bit. And what I'd love is for instead of having my webcam, maybe I don't want to distract people with my face, you know, for the whole video. Maybe I just was having a bad hair day and I just was not feeling it, or for whatever reason, maybe I don't feel that comfortable being on camera, which I get. I understand. Here's another option. You can take a still shot of you. I'm actually going to go to visual effects, and I'm going to add a mask filter, which will automatically round this out. And now this is a great chance for me to show one other asset here. I'm going to go back to the assets tab, and I know what asset I'm going to do. So I'm going to do fluid audio ring. So there's lots of different audio rings and visualizers, but I'm going to just download this one because I think it looks the best. Okay, so here is my audio ring, and I'm going to now center it on me. And this is why I added that mask, so it would be centered. You know, I could spend the time to really sync this up and get here. I'll just track this down just a little bit. It's not quite right. Something like that. But now let's take a look and see what that looks like.
And I am making a video to show you how you can access the user reports in our dashboard system. Here you'll start by just entering your username and password, enter your credentials, and go ahead and hit log in.
So I think I definitely want this aspect of this to be gone before I go to my next screen. So I think I'm going to lower these, and I think I will ultimately go back to my favorites and add fade in and fades out for this. So again, just kind of a cool way to enhance the video and give people more options for what they want to be looking at here. So here we go.
The user reports in our dashboard system. Here you'll start by just entering your username and password, enter your credentials, and go ahead and hit.
Now where it really gets interesting, I won't focus on this too much, and I'm just going to mention it, but if I had my companion program Audiate, let's say I didn't want my voice, like the words that I'm saying are the words that I want to use, but I want to switch it out for an AI generative voice. Maybe I want like a female voice doing this, or somebody with a British accent. I could literally go generate the words that are said in Audiate, generate those in a different accent or a different language, and send them back to Camtasia. And maybe I just choose a stock footage of somebody speaking. It does not have to be me anymore because it's not my voice. So anyway, that's kind of the more advanced stuff, but if you're interested, let me know. Check out the actual TechSmith website. There are two more things that I wanted to show. I have about 8 minutes, and I want to just make sure we do have a little bit of time for questions, although I'm not seeing too many, which is totally fine. But if you think of anything in the next 8 minutes, pop it on in there. But what I want to show is one of the very cool features in Camtasia 2024, which is dynamic captions. So I'll be honest, before Camtasia 2024 came out this year, I personally was not very happy with the captioning experience in Camtasia. It wasn't particularly good, but I have been shouting from the rooftops for us to have a great captioning experience in Camtasia for educators. And now we finally have it in dynamic captions. So I'm going to pull down dynamic captions here, and it's literally just a, something that I add right here.
Here you'll start by just entering your username and password.
And it will just take a second for it to generate. But right out of the gate, we use what's called Whisper technology. So we're in a way we're kind of outsourcing this, but first of all, the captions generate very quickly, and they're a lot more accurate, speech to text accuracy right out of the gate. So here we have, okay, it's pretty much done here.
Enter your credentials and go ahead and hit.
So I can control this. So like right away, I think what I want to do is make these a little bit skinnier and bring these down. So I would love just one sentence here. So I can highlight this, and I can go over here to the top right-hand corner, and I can change what I want, right? So maybe the color that is like moving with the spoken word, maybe I want to change that to blue. I don't know, maybe that's too distracting. Maybe I want a darker. No. Let's go with that blue. I can change the word opacity, the background for the actual captions, but let me just play this back real quick and
log in. Then the dashboard will load. What I'd like you to do is on the left, go down to where it says reports.
So anyway, what I was saying in terms of speech to text accuracy, the old captioning used to come in, I would say at maybe 70%, but in my experience, it's coming in at 95% accurate, if not more, meaning I don't really have to spend a lot of time cleaning up these captions or, you know, making sure that it's getting the right word correctly. I'm guessing when I say my name, it didn't get that right. Yeah, so here it says Casey Cider. So it's pronounced like apple cider, but it's spelled obviously differently, right? So that is one that I would have to change here. But just in a quick nutshell, those are dynamic captions. I love them. They're very, very cool. Okay. So one last thing that I want to show off is I did mention screencast before. So just to explain, so I'm done with this video. I'm very happy with this. I would go up here and export this, and I could send this directly to screencast. Now, because this is a 90-second video, I'm actually probably not going to actually do it just because it would take a little bit of time to process, and I don't want to waste that time with you guys, but I will pull up what screencast looks like. So this is my personal screencast. So I have a million different videos and all kinds of things here. I did want to show you though what it looks like. So here's some of my demo content. So I have this video that I made. Oops. Hey everybody. So what this looks like here is the moment that I upload it to screencast, I would have this kind of view, and I could go down here and I could just get my share option and grab this shareable link and share it. In fact, just for fun, I will literally just pop it right here in chat. So now anyone that I share that with can click on the link and watch the video. You do not need to sign in. You don't need to sign up for anything. You can just watch the actual video. So that's the basic component of screencast. It is free to a degree. We do cut you off at 25 files. And if you want to go more than that, yeah, there's a paid service that you can pay for, but there's a free version that you can just sign up for if you like. And one extra little wrinkle to this that I absolutely love is something called conversations. So why?
I'm Casey Cider.
Sorry, hold on for just a second. Why won't the conversation show? Oh, for some reason, I'm blanking on having, let me just reload this. Yep, here we go. Okay. So we have all these. So here is the actual conversation aspect of this. So all of these comments are tied to a specific tab in the actual video. So what I use this for a lot is to collaborate with my coworkers. So this is a video that I show off for demo purposes for certain aspects of my job. And when I made this, I wanted to get the feedback of my colleagues. So I shared this, I just shared the link, and then anybody can go up here and actually just make a small little comment on here. Let me go to a different video. So here's another video that I made. I don't know why it like popped down here. That's never happened to me before. That's a little strange. But then, so all these little bubbles here are associated with a comment that somebody made on the video. So if they like it, if they didn't like it, you know, that kind of stuff. So that is screencast in a nutshell. All right, we got 2 minutes left. Are there any questions here whatsoever? And it's okay if there aren't. But once again, my name is Casey Cider. I'm a TechSmith Customer Success Manager here at TechSmith. And you can find me if your educational institution is using Camtasia or Snagit, you'd like trainings, you'd like some consultation, I'm always available. You can always see me on the public webinars at techsmith.com as well. So I'm not seeing any questions. So thank you, everybody. I guess I will hand it right on over back to Oscar. Thanks, Oscar.
Yeah, thank you so much. I've loved all those features inside of Camtasia. I didn't realize it could do the commenting aspect, so
yeah,
that's awesome. I did have one very quick announcement from Emily Thompson, who I'm going to add as a spotlight real quick. And I believe we're all starting to transition for room. So if you've got a session coming up, we will be there in just a second, but I'm going to hand it over to Emily. And Casey, thank you so much again for your awesome presentation and for supporting ACTAL. We really appreciate TechSmith support.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone.
And I will say, like, if anybody wants to talk about how Camtasia is used, teaching people how to do video all the time, would love to talk about it. I really like it as an intro video editor as well. But I have had a number of people saying that they think they're a member, but they're not getting emails, or there's some other sort of confusion. So this is still kind of a manual process, getting people on the list. We are using MailChimp. So please check your spam filters to see if perhaps it's going to spam. But if you check your spam filters and you're still not getting it, you think you're supposed to be a member. Let me just type something real quick. Yeah. Sorry, weird glare. If you think you're supposed to be getting an email and you're not, and you check your spam filters, please email me at that email address, emily-thompson02@utc.edu, with the email you think it's supposed to be, because there's a good chance that it got misspelled at some point. Either you mistyped it originally, or I mistyped it when I moved it over, or something happened in the, I don't know. There's so many different ways it could have gotten misspelled. But when you refill out the forms, I just check your last name. I don't look at the spelling of the email address, and so it doesn't get fixed. So feel free to send me an email and I will check it to make sure that the spelling is working. Thank you.
And I suspect that is a wrap.
Yeah. All right, everybody, see you in your next sessions.
Okay, there's keys.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you guys were, I'm letting people into their rooms right now.
Yeah,
so.
okay, cool. Excellent. We'll see you all in sessions.